One way to know it's not okay to believe in doctors, medical doctors, is that they still are like the norm. They did not have the right conversations during COVID, which was a very light secondary flu type virus to cause more deaths or strain on the hospital system. Not a high percentage, but one enough to expose the greed and the flaws in medical systems, such as in Canada and most other monetary paradigms, supposedly socially developed nations of the world. So when doctors don't petition, say we're overworked, we're getting sick and we're making our loved ones sick because we make mistakes, we're tired, we don't have the skills to advocate for ourselves and our communities and our patients, and there's no unions that we can count on, and it's definitely not the association of college of surgeons and doctors, whatever. So they should have been saying, hey, we don't want to be working here, except that there's not a lot of other choices they'd have, so they're part of the problem now big time, is we don't want to be working here when the next viruses come, and let's say there's like 5% deaths from these viruses. So they're not having these conversations. So the medical systems of Canada, in fact, that'd be a great study, John. You should put that up, John, somewhere. If anybody has the nerve to do a study to see countries or even provinces within Canada whose medical systems have learned and changed and will be more resilient and capable of adapting. One way to see this is that doctors would say, hey, we are writing a bunch of letters and we're going to make sure they go everywhere in the news that most foods in grocery stores are unhealthy for you. That many of the products in pharmacies don't need to be sold if we start living healthier lifestyles and therefore make better choices. That means we need to teach people how we as doctors and politicians and pharmaceutical companies and among each other have been leading each other wrong. Hey, look at this, mineral oil. What if mineral oil, if used properly, and it's been around for a while, would solve a lot of the digestion issues that would make it that most other products that people take, and if they eat well, even probiotics would be less required over time, is what if, it gets many of half the shelf of that aisle in pharmacies to be empty. Now, pharmaceutical companies would not be happy about this, and doctors that get commissions and they get paid so many ways, get invitations to fancy places to do all sorts of things that maybe their wives don't hear about. And and what if you, the normal folk, what if your daughter just got a job as a pharmacy assistant and you hear that it is us as a collective community to not self-destroy by learning to eat better, advocate for the right things for our health, and do it with some serious activism repeatedly until it's fixed, which means that a lot of the new workers of pharmacies would be kind of out of a job unless they want to transfer to become educators of nutrition and advocacy for your own health to help change these industries over time. Would you do that? No. Intellectual laziness, the path of least resistance, avoiding conflict, laissez-faire, hypocrisy. All these patterns are quite common in Canada. So yeah, you're not about to get better soon, and there are going to be worse viruses. I'm not the only one saying it, or even strains of bacteria, or just things, not leaking from, labs where you do irresponsible science, is also leaking from the ground, from permafrost, from a long, long time ago. And some of us might still have a resistance to these microbes or whatever they might be, but a lot won't. And then start deciding how to process wills faster, dispose of bodies faster. This should be the norm right now. It shouldn't be status quo, business as usual, because business is very, very much the opposite of health of individuals or communities or nations. If you still have not realized this, if you still count on your doctors to give a damn about your health when there's so much they could do even for their own health, but they don't have the courage to do it, then yeah, I have to finish this vlog by saying, you silly, silly homo communia.